Well, hello, 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 and welcome to ZBrush Live and episode 13 of this series. Hopefully today we'll finish it off. I was hoping to do that last week, but we had that interesting problem, which of course I figured out the solution to like 2 minutes after the stream ended. But we'll go over what happened and continue on. So before I get going here, I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay. It looks like we got some people on Twitch and we got some people on YouTube. So if you guys can see my screen and hear me okay, let me know. I'll just leave the slide up for a minute. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you have questions, you can ask during the stream, or you can leave it in the comments if you're watching this after it is aired. And we'll try and answer it for you. Okay, so with that, let's get back to our stream here. So anybody watching, if you could please give me a nod as to whether or not you can see my screen and hear me okay, and we can get going. All right. So let's see here. Looks like everything's working on my end. So I just want to make sure you guys can see my screen and hear me okay before we launch this thing out. Okay, so Cachorro, okay, so it looks like you're saying okay, but okay, everything's good on YouTube, good. And good to go on Twitch also. So I think Facebook usually kind of follows suit, so we're good to go. All right, so here we have our kind of our principal heroes of this image. There's a few other things as well that I haven't turned on, like these other sarcophagi that are around that I'm going to distribute. So I guess I'll leave these on too. It doesn't matter for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to start sending all this stuff to Keyshot. So let me go ahead and start Keyshot here just to make sure it's on in the background. And so I don't know if anybody read in the comments from last time, but basically the problem we were having was that when we sent our model over, so I'll go ahead and do it with one of these so you can see. So here's a model. I'll solo it out. Let's say we have these sarcophagi, and I'm going to send just these to Keyshot. So if for some reason under layers, if I've added a layer and that layer is in record mode, when I BPR this over, let me turn Keyshot on here. When I BPR this over to Keyshot, it comes in black, right? And so then if I start adding materials to it or whatever, it doesn't really work. So basically what you need to do is one of two things: either turn off the record mode like this, turn it off, or the other thing you can also do is delete the layer, which is what I did. So I think I've done it with this model here, so we can kind of pick up from where we left it last time, which basically what I want to do is I want to send out the astronaut first and start texturing her. And then once we're done with texturing the astronaut, then we're going to go ahead and do the rest of the pieces, right? So first let's start with her. And let's see here. So here's the body, right? What I want to do here is do a quick check, because I think after the yeah, here we go. So here you can see that she's got layers, right? And as I go down in these subtools, so I'm just going to bring up these two so you can see them. You can see this as well as this. And as I just use my down arrow keys to go through the different pieces, you can see that none of them now have the record on for the different subtools. And the only difference from last time was that the record was on. So since the record was on, it was shooting it over as black, and I was not able to change the textures or do anything. So I did an interesting bit of troubleshooting last time, but let's see, do I have two of these? How is this working? No, it's just one, and then I've got these ear pieces as well. Right, there's that. Just want to make sure all these things are on. I want to make sure that thing is on. I might need to do some work on this. I don't think I detailed it enough. But if it's not going to be seen, I'm not going to spend the time. All right, so what was this part? I don't think I need this part right here. So I'm just going to, let me show it for a minute. Oh, no, yeah, I do need it. It's this part right here. How come I got two of them? Oh, do I have... That would be funny. Do I have one of these? That's the kind of the... No proxy? No, the proxy's off. So we should be okay. All right, so there's that piece right there. And then I think I was on this one, right? Nope. Okay, this one. I just want to make sure here's another piece that wasn't showing. Where's this one right here? Let's see. Let me do a solo. Oh, yeah, these are for the shoes. Yep, we want to definitely show those. And which ones are these? Yeah, these are all the kind of the little pieces on the neck. So I'm just going to turn all of these on, and in a minute I'm just going to go in and make sure that none of them have the record mode on. So I don't need this cube. So I'm just going to start from the bottom here and work myself up to where I was. So again, I'm just looking at this layer here. I just want to make sure that that record mode is not on. So I think I troubleshot, I guess that's the way to say it, everything except layers, and that's of course where the problem was. Okay, so keep going up, and looks like I'm good. I think I kind of did this and saved it after the stream because I was kind of a little bit not very happy that that problem happened, but this gives us a little bit more time with the model, so that's good. All right, so we're kind of working back towards where we were, and I think we've got everything. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to send this over to Keyshot, right? Let's just make sure the scale is good. So set scene scale. All right, so this looks like it's at 0.33 feet or 9 feet. This is what I want, so I'm just going to set it to 9 feet, which is a little bit tall for her, but it's almost 10 feet. Generate export scale exceeding ZBrush limit. Okay, let's just do that. Just go for this one for now. Okay, I'm going to try it again. That's okay. And then what I'm going to do here is multiply that. What is going on? It's really, really small. Okay. I think what I'm going to do here is, right now it thinks y is 23. I'm going to say, let's change y to be 1. And that's fine. And let's see, set scene scale to that. Okay, so now that's that. And then what I want to do is multiply this by, I want y to be about 30, 24 feet, 26 is good. Okay, so I could either use the Keyshot scale sender, or I can just do the rescaling in Keyshot, doesn't matter. So now I'm good to go, and I'm just going to BPR this over to Keyshot, and while that is cooking, I guess I can't bring the screen over yet. Let's see what questions there are. All right, so hello everybody, W2way, hello, and then Daniel, hello, and I can't read your red text on my blue background. It is Riz, it looks like. What's my go-to method for reducing down Dynamesh sketched armor pieces to usable sharper meshes? Good question, and I'll answer that. But let me just wait until this thing goes into Keyshot, and then we can do that part. Oh man, I forgot I need to do this thing in Keyshot to change the scale. Well, first off, let's just kind of celebrate the fact that this thing did come in here. Let me resize the Keyshot window. It's going to give me a little bit of a pain until I get it. Where did he go? Maximize it. There it is. And then do this to it. and then just resize it. I don't know what's going on with it. I'm just actually going to do this in Keyshot, do the preferences setting, and unfortunately you'll have to wait for it to resend the model, which is fine. While it's doing it, what I can do is let me just set that setting in Keyshot to not scale the UI, and it will not be a problem. Okay. No high DPI support, save changes. Okay. Would you like to restart it now? Sure. Let's restart it. I don't want to save my changes, so I'll just wait for Keyshot to restart. And if you guys don't mind just waiting a second here it is. So now I don't think we should have that problem we were having earlier. All right, here we go. All right, just make the screen fit 1024 by 1080p basically. Right. To bring it in from the right. Right, well that's okay. And then why isn't it locking out? It seems to kind of want to do its own thing. So let me do this to it, and I think it thinks it's maximized. That's why. Yeah, Keyshot's really acting up today. I don't know what's going on. All right, let me just restart Keyshot from scratch. I think that would help. All right, so Dynamesh sketched armor. All right, so let's kind of, I'll do a quick mock-up of armor. And, all right, that's good. Now let's see if we can make it work this time. See if there's something here that can do it. Enable docking, dock windows, restore tab order. I don't want to do any of that. Here we go. All right, as soon as it stops, I want to be able to resize it down. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Resize it down some more. Yeah, it just doesn't want to go past a certain size. So let me, okay, so I think it's maximized now. Yeah, it's cutting off in the bottom. Like I think it doesn't really realize what way to start the day with another interesting Keyshot stubbornness. No, I just want to make sure. Did I set the preferences to not do okay, let's see. Edit. Come here. Preferences. Okay, here are the preferences for it. And IDPI support is off, okay, and everything else should be fine. Okay. Save the changes. Yeah, this is really going to be a pickle if it doesn't figure itself out. Is there a new version? Maybe, because this is like the first version of it that came out. Let me do a quick check here. Check for updates. Sorry, folks. Nope, no new updates. So this is it. Yeah, the window just does not want to resize. I don't know why. Oh, I think I might know why. Maybe it's because I have it locked here in the image. That could very well be it. Presets, yep, that's it. So, okay. So for all of you that encountered this problem, it's because here in the image, I've basically locked the image size and I want to unlock it. And now that I've unlocked it, I should be able to resize it. Hallelujah. All right, here we go. And there it is. Yay. So If you guys encounter this issue, it's because you've locked your image size here, and I'd locked it at a pretty large size there. So here I'm just going to give it myself some room to work, but I also don't want to have that be locked at all. All right, so that's that. Let's go and answer the other question. So how do I, if I've done meshed piece of armor? All right, that's a good question. So let's say I want to put a piece of armor on her arm here. And I'm just going to kind of brute force this thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and let me actually send this out to Keyshot first, so we don't have to wait for that to happen. I think I should be able to work while that's happening. Yep, I think I can. And I know what I want to do here is just click on this one, the body here. And I'm going to insert, let's say I'm going to insert a cylinder 3D. There it is. And I'm going to resize it. Let's turn perspective off. Okay, so I'm just going to resize this down. And I'm going to use this as kind of a piece and I'm going to Dynamesh it in a minute. So here it is, here it is, here it is. And I'm just going to pop this on the shoulder. And let's say it's going to be like a shoulder armor that she's got. If you have a better example, then let me know. I did not hit the resize all subtools. I didn't do that, no. I'll do it in Keyshot. I'll show you. There are different ways of doing the same thing. I'm just going to do it in Keyshot. I don't want to deal with the resize all subtools bit right now. Okay, so there's that. And let's say it's going to be like a big piece of armor here on her shoulder. And then I'm going to, let's see, use the slice. I'm going to use trim curve and just trim it. So the trim is going to go like that. Okay, and then I'll just position this even a little bit more like that. And here I'm just basically creating a very rudimentary piece of armor. And then let's just Dynamesh this. Just defaults. Whoa, that's way too small. Let's go to high resolution. How about that? That's good enough. And then let's just kind of squish it down. Okay, so let's say I have a shoulder piece like this. Right, and I'm kind of going to buckle it down a bit, and then just go ahead and change it out a bit. And let's say this is going to be the piece, and you can see it's kind of wonky. It doesn't have the nice kind of crispness that I'd want. So I can do one of two things. I can either just subdivide this thing and then go in with like H-polish or something. Oh, I got to do this real quick too, so it doesn't take up the whole screen. Let's wait for that to load. And this right about there. Okay, and that's good enough. Okay, as well. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and use H-polish. And that, by the way, I've talked about it before, is just the Wacom menu. It's just part of the thing that comes with Wacom. And here I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of polish. Just getting it to be nice. And I want a little bit of a bevel on the edge, but not too much. And I'm just kind of finessing it. Here, I'm just going to solo it out so I don't have to deal with the rest of the model. There's this little kind of doohickey hanging out here, so I'll just cut it out. And cut it. Nope. Oh, it says subdivision levels. I'm going to delete the lower. I don't need the lower subdivision levels. There's that. Clean this up. One polygroup. I'm going to Dynamesh this one more time. Some funky stuff happening here, but no problem. Easily fixable. Let's just Dynamesh it again. Okay. I don't know what this little hang up is over here, but that's gone. One more time. Okay, we're good. And then let's see here. Let me so when you get it like this, right? So it's still kind of pixelated. You want to get it narrower down. You can just increase your Dynamesh up. So I'm just going to use 2048 here and Dynamesh it. That's going to Dynamesh it at a higher resolution. So did it? No, why not? Dynamesh 2048. Do it again. Right, so I'm just kind of going to smooth this down like so. Just divide it. I'm not really caring that much about the topology right now. I'm just basically wanting to get just a general shape. Okay, so there it is. That's kind of what I want the basis of it to be, but it's not. Hey Sean, how's it going? So yeah, it's basically not as sharp and crisp as I'd like it to be. So now what I can do is I can go, okay, well, let's kind of look at surfaces. I've got one that's rotating around. There's the inside part, which I don't really need. And then there's this top part, right? And so what I want to do here is, let me just take a look at it real quick. And I'm going to try and see if this works. I'm going to group it based on normals. So group by normals, that didn't work. Let's change that maximum angle to maybe 25 degrees. Let's try that. Nope. Let's go to maybe less. Still not doing it. Okay, so if it's not doing it by normals, that's fine. I can manually do it. So I'm just, again, I'm going to solo this, get it at an angle, and just go in here and mask. Maybe let's pick mask lasso. And just maybe mask this part right there, and Control W will create a polygroup. Now another thing I can do here is just go into geometry, and let's do a group loops. And I just want to do, let's do one loop. There it is. So now that created that. And what I want to do is I don't want this to be separate subgroups. So I'm just going to go to ZModeler real quick. And not QMesh, but polygroup and polygroup island. And if I click this and this, then these are two of the same polygroup. Now that I've got this, I'm not, again, really worried about this inside part right here. But if I wanted to, I would just kind of do the same thing where I would, I can just do it this way too and just do that. And that would create a polygroup for me as well. Now, what I want to do is I want to get this into cleaner topology. So I'm just going to Dynamesh it, or sorry, ZRemesh it. So I'm just going to go to ZRemesher. And I'm going to go ahead and just say, let's ZRemesh this. Let's keep it at about the same number of polygons. That's fine. And let's see what we get. All right. So I forgot to click on Keep Groups. Let's do that again with Keep Groups on. So here we go. That gives me a little bit of a better edge over here. This is all good. This is kind of wonky. So I'm just going to do it again. Let's see what that gives me. Okay, still kind of getting wonked up here. I'll turn off adaptive. Still getting wonked up. All right, so in this case, it's easy to fix because it is a symmetrical piece. So what I'll do here is I'll just rotate this like that, and then rotate it like this. Right, so this is all good. This side over here is fine. It's this side that's giving me the problem. And there are different ways of fixing this, by the way. I'm just going to fix it this way. I'm just going to say mirror and weld X. Oops. Let's do that locally. Right, so now both sides look good. And if I ZRemesh this one more time, let's activate X symmetry too. I will get exactly what I want, which is, why am I, yeah, I need to keep groups on. Okay, so there we go. So now I've got exactly what I want, right? So if I look at this now, it looks like this. And I could have used Stager, by the way, to bring this to the middle here, but I didn't. I should have used Stager. If I had used Stager, it would have basically put it back to where it initially was, but it's no big deal. You know, it's a piece of armor, so I can just put it back there. Now, now that I've got good topology, if I subdivide this, right, I'm going to get really clean surfaces. I might need to help it a little bit with H-polish, just a tiny little bit. But I've got that nice edge, and I could even go in here and bevel that edge too. So if I want more of a bevel here, I can just go into edge loop, and here's the bevel option, right? I don't want, let's go ahead and just give it a little bit of a bevel. I think this is under group loops and bevel. let's see. Well, okay, I'm probably not where I need to be. Yep, under edge loop and this bevel amount here. I guess I could also do it with ZModeler. You know, there's 10 ways of doing the same thing. So here I'm just going to delete the lower subdivision level, and what I'm going to do is just go in here, and if I want to just add a little bit of a bevel here, right, so I'm just going to go in to ZModeler, there it is, and what I want to do is bevel, edge loop complete, sure, and then just add a little bit of a bevel this way. And if I want to have this be protruding, I can always go and Q-mesh it out a bit, like this. Oops, Q-mesh polyloop. I know this thing's going to go all the way around. If I hold Shift down, I can kind of get a little bit of a lip like this, or I could go the other way too. Right, and if I go off of my poly frame here, you can see that I've got nice clean geometry. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of how to kind of get from something that is, you know, dynameshed and kind of wonky looking to getting something cleaner. There's a little bit of an anomaly here. I can either fix it by retopologizing it, or I can even get creative here and just go to trim hole and add, oops, maybe something like, not too big. I can divide this one more time. And I'm going to turn this off. Whoa, how big is my brush size? Let's go down to here and I think it's Alt. Click on this. To do this with the mouse. Let's bring that draw size back down. And I just want to maybe put like some sort of a little detail over here. Have it go out. I'm actually going to solo this out and set a stager position for it. And I have it here in my UI, but I don't want to scroll over, so I'll just do it here. Under stager, this is its home stage, and then W, unify it. And set this as target stage. And let's go ahead and go back into our brush here, the trim hole. And now I can choose a better brush size, and this is what I want it to do. Oops. So I guess I need to subdivide it one more time. And add this kind of detail, and then a smaller one. And then even a smaller one. Punch it. Maybe a little bit of a hole there to put a screw or something like that. But yeah, that's how you can kind of get a little bit, you know, cleaner looking geometry. So let's go back to solo, and let's go. Did I not undo the target stage? No worries. Let's see this target stage. There it is. There it is back on her shoulder. And yeah, so hopefully that kind of explains it to you. Okay. So it is Riz. Did that answer your question? Was there anything specifically that you were wanting to do with this? You know, is this kind of the answer that you needed, or did you have more things that you were trying to do? I'm going to go ahead and delete this part. I don't need it anymore. Delete. Okay. All right, so in the meantime, hopefully this model is in Keyshot. Yep, so see now it is in Keyshot, and it is, it does have all the things that I need for it. All right, so what I need to do here is start setting the scale here in Keyshot. So I'm going to go into the scene. There's the ZBrush piece, and now it's coming into Keyshot at 0.3. So I want her to be about maybe 6 feet tall, right? So with the helmet and everything, maybe about 6.5. So I just need to double this number and multiply it by 10. So I need to multiply it by 20, right? So I'll just go to position here and set the scale up by 20. Oops. All right, let's see if this works. I'm just going to go and do this. Nope, that didn't work. I don't know what the gesture is to delete. Let's do that. I guess maybe it's this one. Okay, and then just put in 20. Okay, wow, that's cool. All right, so now she is 20 times bigger than she was. And so now if I go back to the properties here, so it's 20 times this amount. And if I go here to edit and say set scene units to inches, okay, now she is 6.8. Oh, I wanted to say feet. Let's see if I can undo that. Yep. All right, and edit, set scene units to feet, not inches. Okay. And so now she is 22 feet. That's way too big. So here, the scale is way too much. And I'm going to go ahead and half that scale. Let's see, what was her size? 22. So let's go ahead and go to 20. Let's see what that makes it. So now she's about 6.8. So let's go to 24 and see what that is. So again, let's go to properties. So that's again about 8. Okay, that's good enough. And so let's go ahead and take a look at our model. There she is. And if you kind of lose the model here, you can just kind of right click here and just say fit, or set camera target, center and fit path. There she is. All right, so now we've got her and we have her in Keyshot. We got everything we need, so we're good to go. Now, I don't really need to be in full on, in full render mode. I'm just going to go ahead and turn performance mode on, because all I'm going to do is be adding materials. And I'm also going to turn denoise on, which makes things a little bit faster. Okay, and one other thing I want to make sure here is that I've got Maya keys on for this, for navigation. Here we go, and let's go to general. I think it's under hotkeys, and down below here, yep. Okay. Save changes. All right. So yeah, it's all good. All right, so now we'll just start adding materials. It is Riz. For more complex pieces, would I just manually retopo? Sometimes I do. ZBrush does really well. Surprisingly, it does a pretty good job. Nowadays, I seem to be kind of, I'm pretty smart about how to ZBrush correctly to get what I want. But if I really have to be super precise, like if it's a car for a commercial or something like that, yeah, I can manually retopo, and I do that. Sometimes I do it in ZBrush, which now has some really seriously good capabilities to do that. Or I do it in, I take it out and do it in Hedis UV Layout. It's a really old program that I still, I'm sorry, not UV Layout. I take it out to I sometimes take it out to Maya and do it in using Quad Draw, which is pretty powerful. Okay, so manual retopoing is not fun, but I don't mind it. Sometimes if I have to do it, I have to do it. But like recently, again, depends on the project. I haven't really been doing manual retopo. All right, so let's start getting this person textured. So the first thing I want to do is let's get that glass on the mask. So here I'm just going to type in glass. And I don't know why. I think I know what to do here. It's fine. For some reason, it is using. Yeah, I know what to do. Hang on. Give me 1 second here. I've got two pens, and for one of them I turn off yeah, for this one, so for mapping, oh no, yeah, I turn off use Windows Ink for it for this one. Okay, so now I'm not going to have that problem anymore. All right, it's a lot snappier. Okay, good. So here I'm just going to go to the mask, right, and click on it, right? So it selects it over here, and then I picked glass, but oh, I'm in materials, yeah, glass. But I think I'm in my let's go to glass here. So these are downloaded glass options, glossy glass. I think I'm just going to use the generic glass that comes with it. So materials, glass, basic. Let's just try this one right here. So there's the mask. That looks good. So now I'm good with that. And again, this is not the final one. If I want to see how it looks, here's it is in performance mode. Not in performance mode, I mean in regular mode, and it's pretty good. Okay, now the other thing I want to do is there are some lights in here, which is going to be hard for me to select this way, right? So I just have to maybe see if I can find it by, and you know, I should name these better. If I was doing this in production, I would have spent the time to do the naming, mostly because not for me, because I can easily find stuff. So, for example, what I would do in this case is if I click on this glass piece and hide it, right, then that would kind of open it up. And I can go in and just see if I can find those lights, and they're just cylinders that are inside the helmet. So I just try to visually find them. Here it is. So I'm just select that one. Okay. So those are going to be lights. I'll turn the helmet visor back up. And then let's go ahead and assign. So it's this piece right here. We'll go ahead and assign some lights. I don't know why this is not finding stuff, but that's okay. It's right here. And what we're going to do is use emissive. And let's use emissive white, and where I lost which piece it was. All right. Well, I guess the best thing to do is I'm just going to turn off the visor and assign the light this way. Right, so there it is. I'm just going to drag and drop this over to here. Now I've got the lights going on inside the helmet. And for this, I don't need to be in performance mode. I just need to be in regular mode. So there they are. Now the lights aren't really doing much because probably they are too weak. So I'm just going to go in here under emissive and edit that material. So just double clicking on it. And let's bump up that intensity to, actually let me go ahead and change this to visible in camera. Yeah, visible in reflections, visible in shadows, sure. So here I can see it inside, but I don't know why it's not really kind of creating more of a visible light. One other thing I'm going to do here, it's going to actually slow things down a bit, but I'm going to add a little bit of a bloom, and the light will show that bloom off. All right, let's go back to material. And also for lighting, another thing that's good to do when you're working with lights is just put your model in a dark environment. So there it is. So now I basically don't see anything. I see the lights kind of a little bit, but I don't see it shining on the person. So let's go ahead and go back into material and intensity. Let's bump up that intensity a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, so somehow I'm seeing the lights, but I'm not seeing it be reflected on the face as much as I would like. So let's go ahead and add some light back. So let's just add this one back. And it could be because of the glass not shining through. So let me do something else here. I'm going to set my environment to a color. Let's set that to a neutral gray, like so. All right, so let me edit the glass material. Okay, so it's got, let's say it's refractive. Whoa, no, that's not good. Let's drop that refractive index down. All right, so I'm seeing a little bit of the light kind of showing up on the edge of the glass here, which is a little bit better than what I was getting before. So let's kind of make things dark again. Yeah, that's actually even worse. All right. Here we go. All right, so let's just say, let's bump up the refractive index here of this. I'm liking what it's doing here, but I don't know if it's, I think the refractive index is getting from here, not from the lights that are inside. So let me see what's going on with this light again. Emissive, white. Okay, maybe I need the intensity to be even more. Let's go to 50. Okay, so I see a little bit of it reflecting over here. Let's do one of these guys. Okay, so I still see the light. I still don't have it doing what I want it to do. Say visible to camera. Yeah, it's showing up in there. And it's a dark scene, so it's kind of showing up a little bit in here, but I wanted to light her face, and for some reason it's not doing that. So maybe it's because some of the other material isn't accepting it. So I'm just going to kind of wait on this for a little bit. I'm going to leave the intensity, I'm going to bump that down to 10 again, just leave it there for now. And I'll just leave everything exactly the way it is. Let's go back to that glass and material, scene. Actually, before I do that, let's just drop this environment back in. And maybe I'm going to choose a different glass here. Also, do I have thickness for this part? Let me make sure I do, because that makes a difference sometimes. All right, so I want this part right here. Okay, and it has deformation layers. One of the things I'm going to do here also is for all these layers, I think I'm just going to go ahead and bake them all. Is there one? Bake all layers, bake all. Okay. And let me look at this part solo. Oh yeah, so it doesn't really have a thickness. I need to add thickness to this. Let's drop it all the way down to the lower subdivision levels and polyframe. Okay, so here's a perfect example. It is Riz of how I had a part that I basically sculpted, but then just dynameshed, or I'm sorry, zero meshed. So I've got cleaner geometry, and I've got 4 subdivision levels on it, but I don't have a thickness on it. So I'm going to go ahead and add thickness to it. So I'm just going to go dynamic subdiv, turn on dynamic, and that's way too much thickness. Maybe about there, like that. Okay, so now that makes work better. I'm going to add 1 segment here in the middle. Let's see if it added it. Maybe 2 segments. Okay, I just want that line in the middle, and that's good. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this. And then, do I still have my subdivision levels? I don't. How good is it? I think I could divide it a few times. All right, so there's 1 subdivision level. I think that's good enough. So what's really nice about this is I just made this edit. All right. Something that I didn't do is I made the thickness, but I made it from the center. So I'm going to go back here in steps, back to before I added the thickness, when it did have subdivision levels. I'm going to go to the 4th subdivision level here and delete the lower, and then go to dynamic, and also drop my thickness way down to maybe about there. I'm going to want to have 2 segments, and all right, that's good, and no smoothing or anything else. Now, the thing I didn't do is the offset is 0, so it's basically going, the thickness is going out from both directions, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to bring everything back, and I'll show you. So right now, the thickness is okay, but it's kind of infringing on this little border that I have, which is kind of a thing that will hold the, you know, the kind of the electronics and stuff she sees. So I'm going to offset it 100%. Now it's exactly what I don't want, and I'm going to go in the other direction, which is what I want. Maybe not so much, so it's still touching the thing. There we go. All right, so that's kind of more along the lines of what I want. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply it. And now, since you know, I can very beautifully just send this right back into Keyshot by just clicking the BPR button, go into Keyshot, and now it's basically getting those changes, and hopefully I will have the thing that I wanted. Because right now, it's just viewing it from the inside. Okay, here we go. Right, so now I can see the lights inside, and I can see it lighting up the inside part of her face too. And let's try and see what this does. Again, let's just say it's a completely dark area. It still doesn't show up as much as I'd like, but I did bring the lighting down quite a bit. So this light, yeah, let's just bump that back up to 20. Okay, so yeah, I see a little bit of the inside of the helmet. I might need to reposition these lights, but I can do that later. I think I just want to kind of move on from the stage. So just bring one of these back in. All right. The glass is still kind of funky. I'm just going to also put in a fresh version of the glass. So I'm just going to go back to basic glass, just drop that in. Darker glass would be better. Nope. Just a normal glass. How about basic white? Here we go. I think this is kind of doing what I want. Maybe the glass was too dark. And go back to environment. Let's drop that back in. No, it's still kind of doing its thing. All right. Maybe after I add some more materials, we'll get something better. All right. So now we've got this going. And let's go ahead and start working on the suit. So the suit, I have different materials on here. So when I was putting together this piece, and you can see that in the previous episodes, where I basically painted this with different materials. So I basically just turned M on for material channel, or MRGB, and just filled in these areas. And what's good about that is, even though it's the same subtool, I can apply different materials to it. So let's say I want to apply some sort of a rubber material. So let me go up to materials here. Let's see if this is going to work this time. Yep. Rubber with 1R. And so let's say this kind of top part is some sort of a rubber material. So see, now I just dropped it in there. Oh, hello. Right. So now I don't want to link these materials. I probably dropped it on another piece that I didn't want to, but that's okay. So now this has that rubber material on it, and I like it, but I want to make some changes to it. So I'm going to edit it, and I want to increase its roughness a little bit. And let's see, and I want to drop down its refractive index to have it be something more like this. Now I like this, and I want this other piece to have that same material, so I'm just going to copy it and paste it. Right, so these two pieces have the same material. They kind of look like they are fused together somehow, and that's what I want. And now notice that this material is kind of propagated all the way down here, as well as the knee pads. So that's one of the materials. Okay, so that's looking good. Now let's kind of pick a nice metal material for the helmet. Let's go to metals and painted or anodized, either one. Here we go. Metal, anodized, brushed. Let's try a brushed aluminum, a dark brushed aluminum like this. That's good. So kind of on a BR hacker, what happens if I illuminate her face slightly? Illuminated how? With what? Like have an emissive material for her face, you mean? Or I'm not sure about your question. It could also be the light bounces, that's right, under the rendering. So hello. Aloha, whoever. I can't pronounce your name. Okay. The face mesh does need to be reflected. This is definitely a reflective piece. I do want to get reflections in it. Okay, so it could be the transparency thing. It could be a lot of things. We can troubleshoot it later. I kind of want to keep moving forward. So what I was going to say is one of the things I've been doing lately is playing around with AI and regenerative art. And basically that's just AI where you basically put in, you just put in some stuff and it generates images for you. Like you put in text. So here's some images that I did. And these are really great. I mean, they just kind of happen in the background. I actually have one going on right now. And they're good to kind of just create some random compositions like this where you can get inspiration from. So I'm kind of looking at, and I think I did use astronaut as some of the key terms in these. So let's see if I can find a helmet color combination that looks good. This looks good as kind of a bluish tint. But let me see if there's another one. I think I had some really good ones that could work out. I think these are without helmets. And these generated like tons and tons of pictures. Yeah, kind of orange looks good. Let's try that. And these are just basically exactly what they are. They're just there to kind of give you some ideas. They're definitely not finished images. Let's say if polished looks better. Definitely not. How about rough? Let's see if rough orange like this. That's good. It's a little bit too shiny. How about a yellow? Let's see, maybe something like this. And right now I'm just basically getting a little bit of an idea. This is kind of cool. It's got a nice Fresnel color to it. So let's edit that, see if we can get something better out of it. So right now it's measured, but what if I just go with color here? And let's pick a yellowish color. Maybe something like this. And give it a little bit more roughness. I think that's okay. I'm not really liking it. All right, so I'm going to go off of color here or metal, and I'm just going to go to paint because most of the time these are painted, and I'm just going to see if I can find a good metallic paint for it. Let's try this amber color. Nope. Always go to colors here and pick different colors too. So let's see. Let's see if this looks good. No. Yeah, I don't know if I'm liking this material a lot. Edit material. Let's try this. So I'm going to try two colors. So this is basically going between the base color and the metal color. So let's say the metal color is more of a white. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like metallic paint. So let's just go to rough paint. Let's see what that looks like. Here we go. I think I'm liking this a little bit more. And I could probably add some shininess to it. Edit material. And decrease the roughness. add a little bit of refractive index to it. Let's see. What happens if you illuminate the face slightly? You offset negative to cast colors outward. I don't know. I mean, I could try that. It should work. I did it before in this image that I have. Let me see if I can find it. All right. So I'm probably going to go more than the 2 hours today. I just kind of want to let you guys know. So hopefully it won't be too late or too early for you. But anyway, let's see here. What I'm looking for is just 1 second. So I know I've done it before. I know it will work. I just need to do it again. I just need to remember what I did. I kind of knew it last time, but I kind of got sidetracked with that issue we were having. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Promos. Or was it under renders? Current. This guy. There we are. Here we go. You can see in this one, I got exactly what I wanted, where it's kind of illuminated on the bottom and on the inside, and I just want to kind of get that type of look. Now that I'm looking at it, I kind of like this color scheme, so I'm going to try and match this. I like the kind of the gray over here. Maybe I can get it to be a more grayish color. So let's just do that. Okay, so there's that. Kind of want it to be metallic for some reason. I'm going to try gray metallic like that. And I want to edit this down, not have it be so shiny. All right, and then the two colors, the first one, let's see if I make this darker. It's okay. Still a little bit too reflective. There we go. I'm just going to drop down the clear coat roughness here. I love Keyshot's material editor. It's just so nice. And again, I mean, this is going to be viewed from this angle, I mean, this distance, so I don't need it to be too... yeah, let's give it a minute here. That's looking good. I want this to be a little bit darker. And a little bit more. Like so. All right, so let's see. There's a bunch of stuff I haven't read. Okay. Our face will light up, don't worry. By the time we're done, we'll have exactly what we want. I think this is good for a material for the helmet. So I'm just going to copy it and then paste link it to here. So if I make a change, I'll make the change there too. And also this front part. All right, so here we go. All right, and the thing is here, let me try and do something. If I hide this, is her face lit up? I think it could be the materials that are in here. All right, so let's kind of start playing around with the stuff inside. So for this little piece over here, I think I'm just going to make it white so it shows up. And then this piece on the inside, I want to make it a gray, but not metallic. Let's go to plastics here. And let's go to hard plastic, rough, and let's just make this gray. All right, so one thing I noticed that this was very low res, but it doesn't really matter because, again, it's just not going to guess it does kind of show up here. So let's go fix that in ZBrush. All right, where is it? Subtool. And a good way to pick your subtool in ZBrush is if you hit the N key, all these come up, and this is the piece I want. There it is. Let me solo it. Let me go do it here. Does it have subdivisions? Nope, but I can add them. So I'm going to turn on smooth, divide. That's good. I'm going to add one more. Subdivision level. There we go. And then just send everything back to Keyshot. There we go. So we have it now. And let me see what this would look like. It was a darker color. No. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter because I can go ahead and change it. So let me change the color of it. Edit material. There it is. So the specular is black. Let's say the specular is a gray. Like so. Maybe about there. And let's make it a darker gray like that. Okay, so that's good. All right, so the inside part is looking okay. Now the thing with her face is that it's got a material. So you can see that I've kind of painted the lips a little bit here. So what I want to do is, well, first of all, let me do this first. Edit that material. Let me choose the object. Edit the material. Okay, and for this material, I'm going to go into textures here. I don't think I'm on the right piece. Let's see here. View, selection outlines. Yep. Okay, so let's select that head. I don't know why it's not selecting it. Okay, unselect that. Here we go. All right, so I've got her selected. Let's go to her material and go into textures and upgrade to new node. And let's check this off. Here we go. So I think now we're getting more of that illumination happening. Let's bring the mask back. I think that was the problem. I think that was what happened last time too. Bring that back. All right, so now it's pretty much lit up. And let's go ahead and go into environment here and just make it into a dark environment. You can definitely see that the light is having some effect on the inside. But maybe I don't have, let's see, that's another good thing. If I change this to product, here we go. That was also another thing that I did is Basic doesn't do as many, it doesn't do global illumination. So now that I've got global illumination on, I'm basically seeing exactly what I want. So I'm going to turn denoise back on so I don't get those dots. And I start kind of getting more of this coming through. Now the other thing I also want to do is let's turn on that visor. Is the visor on? It is on. Right? Yep. Okay, and so now if I click off denoise, you can see over time this is going to resolve into her face being lit up. So we have that problem solved. So I'm going to go back to lighting, go back to basic lighting just for kicks. Bring back this environment, excuse me, and let's continue working on the rest of the model. So in this part, I really like it using Keyshot a lot because it's fun to do these ideations. One of the things that Keyshot has introduced in version 11 is this ability to create different versions. Like I can create different variations of this, but I don't have the time to do it during the stream, but it's definitely something that I will do more of as time goes on. All right, so this helmet color is okay. Just kind of keep it there for now, and then we might change it later on. Let's work on some of these other parts. So here I've got the rest of her costume. So I've got like this part where it's her pants and everything like that. Let me go back into ZBrush and show you. So in ZBrush, I've got one material that's kind of this top part, which we change into rubber. And then that kind of goes down to here. And then there's this material, and then there's this material over here. I think there's another material that's over kind of this bottom of the breasts and also these straps. So let's go ahead and do some work there. Hey, BR Hacker, thank you very much. Mucho apreciado. All right, so let's kind of add a material to here. And let's go for plastic again, and let's go. Actually, I'm going to go for rubber again. I'm just going to choose rubber, and let's do another rubber material. So it's the same. I don't want to link them up. So both of these are rubber, but they're different, and I can change them up. So I'm going to edit this material, and the specular for this is kind of a lighter color. And what I can do is I can play around with its roughness. Make it maybe a little bit less rough. Let's see if I play around with the refractive index. Not too much. There we go. And maybe not make it be so dark. But maybe something like that. All right, so let's see what that looks like. And again, I just really love that Keyshot just resolves this pretty quick. Now the weird thing is, I don't know if this is a different material. It's kind of treating this as a, let me see here, just quick, yeah. I don't know why, but it somehow is treating both of these as the same. Where in ZBrush you can see that this and this is the same, but this down here is not. So I don't know why it's kind of linked them together. But I'm not going to worry about it, it's fine. I'm going to copy this material here, and I'm going to paste it on this with a link, paste it on this with a link. So when I paste the material with a link, what that means is that if I change it anywhere, it's going to change it all at once. So that's looking good, like that. And looks like I've got some weird anomaly here, but no problem. I'm just going to copy this material and paste link it into there. Somehow it figured that maybe it's got a different material in there. Okay, so that's all good. All right, so some of the things I see here is that her skin is protruding through here. But again, that's something I need to fix in ZBrush, so that's down here too. And down here and down here. All right, so let's go to ZBrush real quick and fix those problems. So I can do it in one of two ways. I could either push her skin in, or I could push the suit out. Pushing the suit out is probably the better option. So go to the suit here. Okay, it has layers. So let's go over to this geometry, oops, and layers. And let's just bake all. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. And also, I'm going to drop the subdivision level of the suit, maybe not down so much, but to the point where we can see that issue, which is now. And let's go to the move brush and just make those adjustments. Very slightly pull this out so it's not intersecting her skin. There, that fixed that part. And then there's, I think, one over here where a wrinkle's kind of gone in a little bit too much. And I think there was one somewhere around here. There's definitely one over here. Let's just fix that. And all right, let me just jump back up in subdivision levels and send this over. And let's see what happens. And again, it's just this kind of interaction between the two applications that I really like, where I can just make minor adjustments and bring it into here. Okay, so it looks like I fixed what was there. I fixed what was there. I fixed what was there. So there were a couple other places, I think, yep, over here and over here. All right, so let's fix those. There we go. Again, I'm just going to drop this down to subdivision level 3, pull that out, and I think here was the other one. Okay, let's bump this back up and BPR it over. All right, here we go. All right. Oh, there's some over here too. Well, since I'm doing this, let me just kind of go through. There's some over here. There's some over here. Anywhere else? And these are kind of tough to catch in ZBrush. I mean, not that tough, but they are tougher to catch in ZBrush. So, you know, it's good to be able to just go back and forth and make the minor adjustments. Okay, and again, I'm just going to drop this down in subdivision levels. Just push this up. Push this up, like so. Go back in subdivision levels to the highest and BPR it over. I think we should be good to go this time around. All right. Okay, I think we are good now. All right, so how are we looking from a overall perspective? I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. It's just too kind of... Let's see, did I keep that image that I did before? And that test that I did, yeah, so this is darker, this is lighter. Yeah, this seems to be working a little bit better versus what I have here. Well, it's kind of the same thing almost. Maybe make this a little bit less shiny and let's increase the roughness. And maybe make the color a little bit lighter. All right. And of course, I mean, it would be nice to kind of have this be kind of more colorful. Like I could go for an orange like this. Beige. That's a whole other kind of avenue I could go. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to copy this material and paste link it to this part of the shoe. All right, so that's looking good. And then I'm going to copy this material and paste link it to this part of the shoe. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Now I've got these little kind of side pockets. So I'm assuming that the air canister in the back has these kind of lungs here too that help her breathe. So, you know, kind of curious as to what to do with that. Looks like I got a little bit of a island here but again, I'm going to look at this from far away. It's not really going to matter. I could clean it up in ZBrush, but well, why don't I do that? Yeah, so it's this stuff over here that's kind of not figuring out what it wants to do. So I'm just going to go to material, pick this material, whatever it is, and I'm also going to go to color and pick this color, and then just go to paint. Turn MRGB on, pick a small brush size. That's a bit too much. I need to turn lazy mouse off on this. And just this over here and this over here. And then let's just pick this material and this color and do this to it. And then there's a little bit of that here, this material, this color, and where was it? I think it was here somewhere. I'm just going to go over it this way. All right, so let's see what that does. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this back over. To Keyshot. And let's see how much of that we fixed. All right, that's good enough. I wonder if I can just do this. Copy material. And what if I just apply it to that? Just, yeah, that works too. So another way to fix that issue was just to paste link into the material into that one area, and that fixed it. Okay. All right, so let's continue on. I kind of want to work on this helmet a little bit more. If I go completely the other way, what if I make it a lighter color, like white? That's cool. That's working for me. And the metal color is white as well. And clear coat is, I'm just experimenting here. I'll try a candy coat here. Let's try a candy coat color. And let's pick a white base color and the clear coat it's kind of looking cool and spacey, but I want it to be rougher. There we go, that works. Give it a couple of minutes to cook here. That looks okay. All right, I think that's good. Now I want to take this exact same material and paste it. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to paste the material, and then I'm going to make it darker. Oh, cancel. Edit material. This darker and this darker as well. Okay, I'm kind of liking that a lot. Okay, and I'm going to just copy this material, paste it over here. And I got these two little doohickeys over here. I'm going to paste them there too. Paste linked material. Okay, I don't know why they're coming out like that, but that's fine. It's okay, and maybe paste it to this thing as well. It's good. Copy this material, paste link it to this, and this ring. Okay, it's looking good for the helmet. Let me see here. I'm going to see if I can do something with the eyes inside. I mean, they look okay. But, okay, there they are. Edit material. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to upgrade this to new node and apply madcap and see if I can get anything better. That's looking better too. I might add more of a reflective material to it, so I'm just going to go to plastic here. Where are you? Plastic paint. It should be under paint. Plastic. And let's go to hard shiny and white. And I'm going to alt drag and drop it so it maintains the color, the poly paint, but changes the material. That's looking good. And then I'm going to pick a shiny black, or maybe a rough black. For this, no. Maybe not good. That didn't work well either. Let's just go back to rough. I think that's good for that part. The eyes don't look like, they look pretty pixelated because I guess I could subdivide them a bit more, but they kind of look cool. And again, they're going to be pretty small, so I'm not going to really see them. And she's got eyebrows that are basically barely showing up, so I'm going to edit this material. And the thing about this material is that it's got a very strong specular, so I'm going to drop that spec down. There we go, that looks good. And I'm going to copy that exactly the way it is and paste it over here. Paste material. All right, so now I've got the eyebrows, everything in the face is good, everything in the helmet is pretty much done, unless I want to maybe change the color of the helmet, but I think I'm going to leave it as this type of color. All right, so let's see what other parts we've got. We got these little metallic parts here. Let's pick a metallic object. Let's go to metallic, and let's go to, actually let's just go to metals, and let's pick aluminum, brushed aluminum, and let's pop those here, and let's do that to here as well. Yes, I do want to link them, and however, I don't want them to be shiny metallic aluminum, so I'm just going to edit those, make it a color, and make that aluminum kind of a darker aluminum like that. Okay, so that's good. Right. And I want to copy that color and apply it to these little pieces over here. And these ones as well. I don't know if I paste linked it. I'm going to paste link it, make sure. Oop. Kind of knew I wasn't hitting that right on the dot. So paste link material. All right, got that. And maybe these little pieces over here, they could have that material as well. Okay, that's good. All right, good, good, good. Now I got to find a color for this over here and this, which probably would be the same, and maybe this thing, this lung thing. Let's see. Other things I can do is I'm going to copy this material over here and paste link it to the strap. Okay, that's good. And then I'm going to copy this material and paste link it to these holders. Right, so these pieces are just holding these kind of rings, and then she can attach a tool belt or something to both sides of this. All right, that's looking good. Oh, and let's assign this same aluminum here. To these buckles. It's kind of, is that the same material? Let me do this one more time. Copy material, Paste linked material. I guess it is. That's weird. It looks a lot lighter, but that's fine. Okay, so that's kind of starting to look good. Overall, let's go ahead and bring back her visor. And let's go ahead and change the lighting back to product lighting. And let's give it a minute here to finish rendering and see if there's anything else I can do. All right. So I kind of like these side things being a lighter color, so I think I'm going to actually do that. Let's go to basic lighting again. And what if these were the same color as that? No, they're not going to be metallic. All right. Let's just pick plastic here. Just go with rubber again. No. Copy material and paste link. And paste linked material. All right, and let's edit these guys. All right, so what do we got going on with these? I do a color. I'm just basically spitballing it here. I'm going to go to performance mode real quick because I don't need to be. This could show what I need it to show. Her face looks funny. All right. But if I just go, let's try grays. Let's pick the, here we go. I think this right here is the nice, yeah, this is kind of a good level for it. So let's just change the hue now. Value was good. Let's go off performance mode, see how that looks. Yep, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. So I'm going to copy that material and I want to apply it to this. That's good. I'm going to copy this material and apply it to this back piece. Link it. It's all good. Let's get that aluminum here. Paste linked material for this part and this part as well. Okay, so that's good. And this part right here. Okay, so these are metal parts in the back that are holding this thing together. And then I'm going to copy this material and paste link it to here. Right, so this whole backpack is kind of that beige color. Okay, I'm kind of liking how that's looking on its own, but now the helmet color kind of looks funky. So let me edit that material. What if I pick that for it? And okay, that's good. And what about this? Okay, this is all very good, but too dark. All right, I'm just going to let this resolve with good lighting just to see what I get. All right, desaturated green. Yeah, that could be a thing. I don't know if you're making a joke about the freckles, or is it because of the way that Keyshot is resolving the thing. All right. I still haven't done these little patches over here that I need to do. And these, by the way, are magnetic. So like if she's got tools and stuff, they just basically snap onto these parts of her suit. Because if she's in zero gravity, that's what she would use. Actually, I'm going to copy this material. And these knobs could be that same material. Place linked material. I usually will spend a lot more time on this. And I usually spend a lot more time on this than I'm doing now. And usually, you know, I do a lot of this in other programs too, just to kind of get some ideas. Now, one other thing I want to do with this material, I'm going to edit the material graph for it, is I'm going to give it some sort of a color. So I'm going to add a geometry, no, materials, no, where are you, utilities, and contour, curvature. Let's add a curvature here. And I'm going to add this to the diffuse. Okay, and let's see what that gives us. All right, that's good. And so what I want to do here is I want to add like a little bit of edge to it. So this, let me just add a color here, materials. Add occlusion as a label here. Let's see if that works as well. Let's see, there's that. And now here, what I'm going to do is for the positive curvature, I'm going to change the color, and I kind of want to move this over, change the color, more to something different. So now it kind of looks a little bit darker on the outside. Maybe not so dark, but maybe something like that. Okay, that's saturation, but let's add a little bit more. Here we go. Okay, and I want to invert this too. So utility, invert, where are you? Yeah, let's invert this. All right, so let's see what that looks like. It's good, and now let's do the other color, which is this one, and let's change that to same thing we have, but maybe darker. All right. looks okay. Let's see what it did to the back. Wow, it's kind of neat. It created, like, you know, the geometry of this, I guess it wasn't as subdivided as I'd like, but it created this weird pattern, and I am just going to go with it. Okay, let me just edit this a little bit more. I want the colors to be a little bit more closer to each other. So let me do this. Bring this over so I can see it. Yeah, here we go. That's it right there. All right, so that's done. Let's see what it looks like from the front. Okay, this is all very good, but I'm still not liking the helmet color, and I'm also not liking the inside color of this. Edit material graph, zero curvature, and I'm going to give it that. And let's see, do I want it to be darker or lighter? Darker for sure. Not that dark. Okay. Goody. All right, so we got that. Let's see, the backpack looks good. And now I want to change the helmet color a bit. I'll probably go through a lot of helmet colors before I, you know, settle in on one. I want it to be a lighter color for sure. But not... let's see what that looks like. So this is kind of doing look dev for concept design. And I really like how this is turning out right here. It's perfect. I could probably make the color a little bit closer to gray. Material graph. Let's drop its saturation. Same with this guy. Same with this guy. All right. Okay, so we're getting pretty close. Let's see, any questions? Hello, Min, and Tyler, thank you. I don't know what that means, but thank you, I guess. All right, let's go to lighting here. Okay, I'm going to product lighting. I'm just going to let this thing sit here and resolve for a little bit. And let me figure out a good material for this. So I'm just going to go to, let's go to some sort of a hard plastic, rough. And I'm just going to choose a really kind of bright yellow. That's too much. Gray, and let me edit it to be a lot darker. Something like that. But I want it to be very rough and have more of a refractive index, so it's kind of like a shiny metallic thing. And then if she has like a space hammer or something like that, any tools, she can just kind of snap them onto here so they don't drift away. I think this is looking pretty good, right? So I think I'm going to drop a save. In here. And let's put it under Keyshot. Okay. All right, so we got pretty much everything working the way we want. So now I think I'm good with the material assignment part. So now let's just kind of add some decals and make something kind of more, you know, cooler looking. And adding decals is really easy. All you do is just open up a folder of decals. And I've got one here, and I'm just going to go and find some decals. And a lot of these I buy on ArtStation, or you know, or make myself. But quite a few. So I'm going to start with this one right here. I'm just going to drag and drop it. It's going to take a second here to come in. Right. And there it is. And I want to add that to label as a label. Okay. And before I do that, I want to switch back to basic lighting. I could probably go to performance mode on this too. It's too big. I'm just going to resize that to be small and just move it around here. So let's just turn translate on as well. I think that's good. Let's see what that looks like. Drop it out of performance mode. All right, so this is kind of cool. It's kind of going to be the base of something, but I don't like where it is. So I'm just going to go to edit material here, go to labels. There it is, this one. And let's go ahead and do positioning on it. Some more, so just move texture, make it even smaller, and move it somewhere over here. Rotate it about this way. Something like that, and then kind of like it being shiny. That's fine. I don't want it to repeat. I don't want it to be two-sided. And the material for it is plastic. That's fine. And label properties. Let's add a little bit of roughness to it. And let's drop its refractive index a little bit as well. All right, I think that's good. All right, so I've got that label there. And then let's add something else to it. Just looking for another label that would look good. See if this one works. Label. Now the good news about these labels is you don't really need UVs or anything, and just pop them on. What happened to it? No, I don't want it to be up there. I want it to be down here. So let me zoom in. Oh, I undid it. No worries, I can just bring it back. Add label. And position it. There's probably a better way to do this, or a faster way to do it, but this isn't too bad. All right, so that's just going to come over here, like so. All right, that's good. No. See, the problem with this is you can't control Z it. So if I move it and I get it right where I want it, and then I click on the screen, it just, for some reason, just moves it to where I don't want it to be. See if I turn translate off, does this move the whole thing? It does. All right, that's why it's off by default. All right, let's do this, turn it this way. That's why it's off by default. No problemo. All right, let's zoom in here, make sure it's, yeah, see. Just want it to be positioned in the right place, right there. That's good. Let's accept. Nope, I need to move it just a little bit more. Rotate it this way. Again, this is something that's not going to be seen up close, so I'm not going to worry about getting it exactly right. I think I did a little bit more work than I would have liked to, but that's fine. Just one more little adjustment. Here we go. All right, we're good. And then let's add a number to this person. I think I've got some numbers here in the decals. Let's see. How about number 54? Well, let's do 808. Add label. That came in pretty big. Texture. Let's make that a lot smaller. And I might want to rotate. Just do this. Try this one more time. Move texture. Let's make it smaller first. Then here we go. You just click where you want it to go, and that's where it'll put it. All right, so here we go. She's number 808. All right, that's good. And then let's just pick some other random little bits and bobs and put them around. Kind of like this one. Drop it here. Label. Get a lot smaller. Even smaller than that. All right, I don't know why it's not showing up really well, but I think it's because of its, did it drop it to diffuse? I don't want it to drop it to diffuse. That's probably the problem. Okay, no worries, we'll do it again. Add label. It's still under, oh. Rotate. Okay, that's good. And planar is fine. Move texture, reset. Let's see if we can do some things to this. Blend with color, and let's blend it with color white. And make it brighter. Doesn't matter. I wonder if I can just override the color of it. That looks good. I don't know if I can, let me see if I can do this. Depth is 0, height, width, brightness, contrast, blend with color. All right, so it's basically not doing what I want it to do. No worries, I'm just gonna get rid of that label. And let's just do something else. How about if we do one of these guys? Well, let's add that as a label. I don't know why these are coming so big, but that's fine. Just pop it there. And rotate it this way. I have no idea how we're doing on time. Let me see. I need to bring up the chat window. Have I seen Raised by Wolves? Yeah, I'm watching it. Weird ass show for sure. It's got some really interesting elements as far as the different bio kind of organic things. Reminds me a little bit of David Cronenberg movies. But yeah, no, I'm watching it. All right, just going to rotate this a little bit more. And I think that'll do it. Okay. So it's really interesting how these little things make a huge difference in how it looks. And just like very simple little elements kind of make a big difference. So here I'm just going to add a shield to here. Nope, that's not what I want it to do. Sometimes it thinks you want to add it as a background. So there, label, there it is, make it smaller. Yeah, I'm watching Raised by Wolves. Also, you know, there's a lot of good sci-fi out right now. There's all the Star Trek stuff happening. Obi-Wan's going to happen soon, so the world of sci-fi looks pretty promising. Come on. Oh, it's adding itself to this material. Undo that, and I want to do it over here. All right, add label. I don't know if there's any good sci-fi movies on the horizon. Dune was really good. I like this, but I kind of want it to be a little bit more, have a little bit more specular on it. So let me just go over to its brightness, contrast, and let's see, is there anything else I can do with this? Nope. I think that's good enough. All right, so maybe move it over to somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know if this one's working. I'm going to just get rid of it. What if I make it into metal? No. Plastic. What if I make it into translucent? See if that makes it any better. No, it's going to take forever to do it too. So I'm just going to get rid of it. Sorry. Sometimes things just don't work. All right. And let's see if I can add some more labels to the helmet. How are we doing on time? Oh, wow. All right, we're almost done with the normal time, but I said I would stay for another hour. It's a lot of this from this point forward. Let's see. Let's add one of these guys. Nope. Now, what happened is when I dropped that in there, it changed my image size here. So I'll just go back to 1000. By let me see here, landscape. Here we go. That's what we want. Yeah, what happened was when I dragged that over, if I let it go on the background, it thinks that I want to set it as the background, which is not what I want to do. What I want to do is set it over here as a label. And it doesn't have to be this big. Maybe it's just right there. Nope. Maybe here. Oh, we didn't do anything with this. Let's do that real quick. With the little iPad screens on the arms. For that, we'll choose glass. Let's use basic glass and dark glass like that. So what's nice about this, and you kind of see it a little bit here, is that it's going to start reflecting whatever is in the environment. So these things over here are supposed to be labels, so let's just do that with them. Bring this over here into there, add label. I don't know why it's so big, but we can change that. It'll be really small. I think the reason why it is bleeding over to this area is because I linked the material. No problem. I can fix that by just going into here, going into plastic, rough, and let's just add this gray material. Nope. See, I'm going to unlink the material first, and then I think that'll just do it. Let's just drop this in here. Label. That looks good. More or less, maybe smaller. I just love this capability in Keyshot. All right. Earl Grey hot, yeah. Funny enough, that's what I'm drinking. All right. That looks okay, but not what I want it to be. All right, so that's going to be not there. Find something else. How about this one right here? Oh wait, before I do that, let me get rid of this guy. Sorry, there's going to be a lot of like, yeah, this works, yeah, this doesn't work kind of thing. But bear with me. I think this one will work just fine. Oh, I saw the Batman movie. I should mention that. Second time I've been to the theater since after the pandemic. That was fun. All right, let's see what that looks like. That's pretty good. I think I like this type of thing to be on the little iPad screens here too. So this looks good. I want to make it a little bit bigger. So it's just the X and the text and not the border. Now again, depending on, you know, what the quality of this needs to be, if I had UVs on this, I could get these to be a lot nicer placed on there. And I could probably do this placement in Substance Painter or something else, which is more geared towards this type of thing, but this actually isn't too bad. All right, and so this looks pretty shiny. I don't want it to be that shiny, so let's see if I can drop its brightness to about there. And then this is plastic, which is fine. Is there a place where I can change the roughness of it? Label properties, yep, roughness. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so that's that. And then let's add something to the screen while I'm thinking about it. Something neat. Let me see if I can find something that has a bunch of interesting kind of UI decals. I know I've gotten some somewhere. These are patterns. Maybe I'll use some of these patterns later on something else, but let's see, decal pack. Looking for something that's UI. Medical. I've got some that are, I don't know why they do this, but they have them all on one big PSD. And so you have to go in and kind of take the ones you want out. I don't have the time to do this now, but let me see here. If I go to here, icons, logos, infographics. Let's look at this. I could probably find something in here. Let's try this one. Label. And move. There we go. And I could add a glow to this as well to kind of make it jump out more. So see what that looks like. That's good. It's okay. And then probably add some to the helmet in a minute. So you can see just sprinkling a few of these on here makes it look a lot better. So I'm going to choose something like this. Actually, of course, as soon as I got done with this, I found something better. I'm going to use that instead. So get rid of this one and bring this on here as a label. Here we go. All right, so that's that. Come on. All right, I think I need to bring these up. Here we go. All right, so she's got something on her little pad over there that she can read or do stuff with. And then start putting some stuff on the helmet. How about that? This one looks cool. Let's do this one right on there as a label. Let's see, I haven't looked at questions for a while, but it looks like everybody's being really quiet. And there's a lot of people on. Geez. Thank you for being on. Anybody here a Twitch streamer? I'm just curious. After playing around with the color of the helmet so much, I'm just kind of going to instead just have a pattern. Use a pattern instead. This is looking really good. Something like this. Let's go ahead and drop a save real quick. Because if this thing crashes, then I don't want to have to do all this again. So label positioning takes a little bit of time. All right. Everybody's being really quiet. Looks good. Let's just accept that for a second. Probably going to do a little bit more tweaking on this, but I like what it did to the helmet. And look at the material here. So it's got black borders. So I just need to position it in the middle. So the thing is about this is it's not very accurate by any means. This kind of label way of doing things, but you can get some really kind of interesting results from it. So right now, the thing is every time I want to rotate it, I'm accidentally not clicking on this and it's moving the whole thing over. You got to be really gentle and careful when you're positioning these decals. All right, so there's that. That's kind of neat. Yeah, let's do that with the helmet. It even created an interesting design back here. Completely happy accident. All right. That's good. All right, so let's drop this back to product lighting, see what that looks like. Let's let it cook for a couple of seconds. And in the meantime, let me look and see if I can find some other interesting decals to throw on there. I've got some interesting ones here. I'm going to use this one. All right, let's just drop this one on top of that one. Add label. So I'm basically now stacking the labels. I'm going to go drop back down to basic lighting. All right, so she works for Quantum Aerospace, I guess. There we go. All right, I think we're kind of almost done with the character here. I'm just going to go ahead and drop another save and start bringing in some other parts. It's pretty amazing knowing that 13 episodes ago we started out with you know, just kind of a character in ZBrush, and now we have this really cool looking 3D rendered asset that we can use in our composition. All right, so let's go back to ZBrush and let's go ahead and bring up this other part, which is a sarcophagus, right? So Whoa, yep, there it is. So now I'm just going to do a BPR again, and now we're going to have both of those in here. One thing I just noticed is that I have the decal on the helmet but not on this mouthpiece, so I'm just going to make this shiny black to kind of work with the rest of it. All right, so here she is, juxtaposed with the sarcophagus. And I guess what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick the ZBrush scene and snap it to the ground so they kind of look like they are on the ground. Not that it matters, but it's always a good idea. And then one last thing that I just discovered while I was looking at this is this piece right here in the front. I don't know if that got the decal. It seemed to have, but somehow it's not doing what I want it to do. So I'm just going to add a shiny hard surface black to that. And that'll do it. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. I have to unlink it first and then do it. Here we go. All right, so let's start manipulating this thing. And I kind of have a finished version of this, but I'll do it over again. All right, so first off, I'm going to go to glass here. Where are you, glass? There we are, basic glass. And let's just drop a basic glass on this and a basic glass on that. I don't want to link them. And let me turn the lighting on to product so I can see. Now remember, so is this all together? I guess it is. So I'm just going to start hiding the astronaut. So we'll just work on. And I kind of wish that the folders came into Keyshot from ZBrush. I don't think that happens yet. I think I'm getting close to yeah, and I don't know if there's a way to group them in here, but if I add a folder, I think it'll break my link, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so I'm still kind of getting rid of all of the astronauts, so I could just have the sarcophagus. Okay, I think this is all the sarcophagus. Go to it, and let's see, lighting, basic. All right, I've got the alien in here, so I'm going to go ahead and apply emissive material to the alien. Where are you, light? And emissive, and what's nice is it puts these outlines on there. Here we go. So I've got two. I've got an inside and an outside of the alien. So this is the inside part. So this is the one I want to add the emissive light to. So emissive white light there. Okay, and what I want to do is for the outside part, which I think was this one. Inside, outside, and the outside part I want it to be clear as well. For now I'm just going to put a glass on it, And here we go. We're starting to see. So there's a third one in there. Do I have 3 different alien blobby things? Let's expand this out. Now the good news is that this isn't too many parts, but yeah, I guess I do have a third one. I guess this third one we don't need to see. All right, here we go. All right, so this is kind of the dead body of the alien in here. And for the emissive one, so again, that's the outside. And for this outside part, I'm going to add some sort of a kind of a plastic, translucent plastic, or something like that. And I can hide these outside parts. So I can see that inside part better for now. Yeah, let's pick this one and hide it as well. All right, so this for this outside part of the alien, I want it to be kind of a translucent material. So let's pick that. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Plastic. And cloudy. Let's start out with a cloudy gray like this. See what that gives us. Okay, so I don't see, and I could probably add a subdivision to this, but it's fine. I'm not really going to, I'm just basically going to see it on the inside. So the light isn't coming through. Let's see if I go to product lighting, if that will shine through more. Nope. So let me go to clear here. And let's try this one. Yeah, it's definitely shining through now. But let me see if I can change this material. Edit material, roughness. Okay, diffuse transmission, specular transmission, refractive index. Okay. I want this to be even darker. I think there was a nice rubber silicone. Let's see if that gives us something interesting. That looks a little bit better. Looks like it's going to take some time to render correctly. But edit material and transparency distance. Here we go. Something like that. That's looking pretty creepy. Let's see if we play around with the refractive index. I think that looks good. Maybe a little bit less cloudy. No, more cloudy. All right, I'm getting something really interesting here. I think this is good enough. Okay, so let's bring the other pieces back and see what we're getting. All right, so we're definitely seeing it somewhat. But I think we can work on these glass materials a little bit. So this is glass, refractive index. Let's see what we get. I got a version of this that works, that's looking pretty good too, that I did separately. Just playing around, but let's see if I can get something interesting again. All right, that's good. Let's give it some color. white wants to look greenish. I want it to look like bluish, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Darker. Let's work on this outside one. And change its color, something closer to what we have. So now we're not kind of seeing the alien as much inside. So maybe drop down this refractive index for a little bit. And I think this is the other one, right? Yep. Nope. All right, that one, edit material. I think solid glass, maybe. Let's see if that works any better. I should do these one at a time. All right, so if this is solid glass, yeah, I don't know what's happening to it. All right, let's try this, start this thing over. So if I had just basic glass, I think that looks good. But I'm going to change the color. Here we go. Do we go orange route or do we go the bluish, greenish route? Let's go for green. Why not? Here we go. Ooh, that looks pretty good. No, I'll leave refractive off. Now the nice thing about refractive index is if it's high, then I get more of the shape of this thing will show up more. But I think this is good. Oh yeah. Paste material, not linked. Edit this material. Let's choose a different color for it, maybe a yellowish color. And let's see what that looks like. All right. CS Murphy, hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it. All right, so let's see. Now the nice thing is if I turn caustics on here, it's going to create all sorts of crazy stuff. looks okay. I wonder what will happen if I add a contour to this. I'm going to change the color a little bit more saturated. Mike Heiss, what we're doing is we have these objects and we're applying materials to them to kind of get the look that we want. So I don't know if you can see, but this is a sarcophagus. There's a dead alien in there. And then this orb here is basically its life story in some sort of a recorded format. And we have an astronaut discovering this in a cave. So we're just basically adding materials to these objects. Okay, so I'm going to add a glass material to this. That didn't look too good. Let's do a frosted glass material, frosted gray. That's better. All right, so I'm going to drop the lighting back to basic here and start to work on this material right here. So for this one, I'm just going to start with a basic, I'm going to try one of these materials that I have. I'd like to say it's in the migrated section. And the only reason why I'm going to use that is because it's got some of this stuff already hooked up, so I don't have to do it from scratch. But I'm looking for migrated. Where are you? Downloads, light, metal, migrated. Here we go, migrated. And I'm going to try this one right here. So this basically is two different kinds of metals, and it's got the border on there. Let's see if this looks good. And if it doesn't, I have another one that's pretty good too, like maybe this one. Here we go. Something like that. And I'm going to add it to here. Yes, I want to link them together. And I'm going to let that resolve for a minute to see what it looks like. Good time to drink some tea. All right, so the reason why I like this material is because it's got that contour applied to it already. So I'm getting these kind of really interesting effects on these sculpted pieces, and the only thing I need to do is mess around with the colors a little bit. So here's I've got a curvature going into specular, and I've got another curvature going into diffuse. So if I go into this curvature here, I've got for negative curvature I've got this darker color, and for positive curvature I've got this lighter color. Okay, and also this is a plastic. We go into it and move this over to the side a bit and move this over so I can see what I'm doing. I love doing this stuff. It's probably one of the most fun stuff of finishing off a model, is just kind of playing around with this type of work. So here I'm going to change the refractive index of this a little bit. And I'm going to change its roughness. Let's see if it's super shiny or if it's super rough. Doesn't seem to be making much of a difference. All right, that's good right there. Let's add some Fresnel to it. Nope. All right, let's see what's going on with the specularity. All right, well, it's kind of good. I had a different one that I liked. Let's see if one of these guys works well. Let's try one of these guys. See if this one looks good. Yeah. Edit the material graph. I think this one has a whole bunch of stuff hooked up as well. I might as well just use it. So first of all, I don't want the background to be this brown material. And I think this is just a texture map, so I'm going to delete it. Okay, and add a color. Okay, so this has got curvature. It's going into here. It's pretty interestingly complex network, but it's giving me an interesting kind of result here. I just don't want it to be red. So here, for the color, okay, I don't want this to be red. I want it to be kind of a darker color like that. Hey, Argentina, how's it going? Yuako, I guess. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. But hello. All right, let's go over to here. I think the roughness is linked to something. It is. And it's linked to this. I'm getting something really interesting with that. And okay, let's play around with that a bit. And then what else? We have the refractive index. I want to go down in this direction. All right, so let's see what that gives us. That's looking good. I don't really see the alien as much. So let me go bump up its material. Let's go to 10. There we go. Let's try 20. Kind of see it a little bit in there. So if I take off this outside part, it really kind of shines up the inside part. So let me make this inside part, this rubber part, a little bit more, less cloudy. Maybe not that less. Yeah, and I'm kind of starting to get the light kind of coming out of it. All right, and I like the kind of the darkness of this outside part, but I want the curvature here, the zero curvature, negative curvature. Okay, so positive curvature is white. I guess you can't get any better than that. There we go. There we go. All right. Inglaterra. No, I'm in LA. I guess if you're asking if I'm in England, or are you asking if this is English? Waco. I don't know exactly what you're asking. All right. So then I've got these little things here, which basically are the things that you press to open the tomb up. So let's give those a different kind of color. Let's try and see what they look like as glass. No, that's not that interesting. How about, and I think I've got an inside and an outside to these. I'm pretty sure I do. Let's see. Yeah, I do. And the reason why I have that is because the inside part is going to be illuminated. I just need to figure out which one is the inside part. I think this is the inside part. Okay, so let's pick up an emissive for those two. I guess I could use the same one here. Copy. Material, copy material, and then I think it's this one, right? There's just a slight difference, and I think it's this one. Paste link material. All right, so that's lit up. And then for the outside part, I'm going to choose some sort of a glass piece. Okay, so maybe pick a solid glass. Orange, let's see if that's better. There we go. And that emissiveness is a little bit too much. So let's go and dumb that down. Oh, wait. First, I got to unlink it. Material. And unlink. And then I can change it. And I'm going to give it the same kind of material as this. Copy material, paste. Okay. So it has got that same greenish kind of tint to it. And let's edit it. And play around with its refractive index just to kind of bring it up a bit more. And maybe make it darker. Okay, that's good. Yep, that's good. And this one, maybe bump it up to 5. No. I think we're going to have to stick with 2. Maybe not visible to camera. Let's see if that makes it better. Let's make this 8. Or 10 even. Yep, that's good. All right, so I like that. I'm going to do the exact same thing to the ones on top. Copy material. Paste link material. So that's the outside part. And then for the inside part, let's see if I can find which one that is. So it's the ball. Where are you? This is, maybe if I click on this one, maybe it's the one adjacent to it. Yep. Okay, so that one's going to get that emissive color. So here, material, copy. Material, paste link. All right, so now I've got those little bit of kind of shine happening in those pieces. And this top part has too much for now, so I'm going to edit that material. And what do I have it as? Glass solid. Maybe not have it be glass solid, but maybe have it be some sort of a gemstone type of thing. Gloss. Right, what about this over here? What about a textured glass? Let's see if that looks any better. No. Right, what I'm looking for is let's look for glass and basic textured frosted. Where are the gemstones? Gemstones right there. All right, let's see what it looks like as that. No, how about quartz? It's kind of neat. Is there a green thing in here? Smoky Quartz. Let's try that. I guess that's good right there. All right, so that takes care of that part. Let's drop a save. Whoa, I don't know what a lich phylactery is. Is that like some sort of a thing from a game? Faithless Zealot. I guess I could look it up. But it's basically a sarcophagus. That's what it is. It's a sarcophagus that basically has an alien on the inside. And then we've got an astronaut discovering it. So I wonder if there's a way to turn all these eyes on at once. Yep. Here we go. All right, so we're kind of getting there. Let's go back into ZBrush and send the cave in. Actually, let's do these sarcophagi first. So I'm going to choose these guys right here. And let's BPR them over. And these don't really have anything in it. It's kind of a similar thing. Like, I mean, the alien is dead. It's been dead for a very long time, but it's stored in here, and it's bioluminescent. We can barely see it, but hopefully I'm going to get that later on. But here there's this orb that basically is where its entire life and everything about it is stored. And this is some sort of an important figure, I guess, in its lore. And so it's basically it's been living in you know, this is, you know, something that they've hidden away in a cave, and this astronaut is at some point finding it, and you know, is going to, you know, open it up, of course, and then all sorts of bad things are going to happen. All right, so this is glass. I'm going to change it to solid glass. There you go. And then let's play around with a refractive index so we get something interesting. And these are all like other types of maybe slaves or, you know, servants or something like that, or other objects, other sarcophagi that have been kind of put in with this one. I don't know if I like this material for this. Let's try some gemstone materials with these guys. Let's start emeralds. Let's see what an emerald material will look like. Maybe that's good. And what do I have for lighting of products? That's good. All right, so last but not least, let's send the cave over. Now the problem with the cave is that in here, I've got the normals working so that it shows up, you know, it shines through. So I'm gonna have to find a good angle, and the best way to do that is to use a space mouse. And so I'm using this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this Space Mouse Pro that I got, and I think I used it a little bit last time, but it's really good for, like, you know, kind of camera positioning. So I'm going to try and see what a good angle would be, and I'm going to do a few angles. So here's one. So what I need to do is I just need to cut part of the cave off, and then So I'm going to duplicate the cave. I'm just going to create a copy of it. And then just like movies, what we're going to do is we're going to cut doors into where we put the camera, and then just look through those cameras at the cave. So I don't need two of them, I just need one. And I'm going to use this to kind of find a good place to cut a hole. I should have put some decals on her back, but I can do that later. Yeah, this is so cool. Okay, so let's say this is an angle right here. And I'll have to cover this part up with Photoshop later on with some sort of fog or I need to make some adjustments to the Space Mouse because I have to invert the axes, but here's a good Dutch angle right there. Okay, so if this is what I want, then I basically will have to cut whatever I don't see here off of the back of the cave. So here, I'm going to go ahead and turn double on so I can see the outside part. And then, I mean, I'm not going to be sending this camera angle to Keyshot. I'm just going to be cutting out the back of this off. So I'm just going to use trim curve here. I don't know if trim curve will work. I want to use knife, but I think knife will be too destructive. Does this work? No, it won't. Because I'm on the highest subdivision level, let me drop it down to 1. And I don't think clip is going to work, but let's see if knife is not going to work either. Let's try trim again. Maybe trim will work this time. Oh, it doesn't like it because of the subdivision levels. All right, no worries. I wonder if I can Boolean it. Let's see. I have a cube here. All right, so let's just move this up to here. I'm going to put these in a folder. This is kind of uncharted territory for me. I have never tried this before, so let's see if this works. Live Boolean. Well, it's definitely cutting it out, but why do I not... yeah, it's creating a weird, funky... I just want to cut that out. All right, let's see here. What if I don't have double on? Will that matter? It won't. Okay. Well, let's try it. Let's see what happens. I'm going to bump this all the way up again to the highest subdivision level. It's going to take a while because it's pretty detailed. Hey, Kailash, how's it going? Hello to you too. Faceless Zeld, yeah, it is. It is kind of a story that I'm making. It's kind of based on a cartoon that I was into when I was a kid, which is Tintin. And here there's this kind of image of one of the covers Prisoners of the Sun, where they're discovering these old sarcophagi in Peru. So I'm kind of inspired by that. But also, all right, so I don't know why this is not cutting it out completely. I mean, it seems like it is erasing it, but I wonder if I can just execute the Boolean here. I should save this before I do it. So let me just do a quick save, and then we'll do the Boolean. So it's kind of, loosely based on the Tintin image, and also loosely based on Alien, where, they're discovering the eggs and all that. So, I mean, I had an astronaut. I just had to figure out a story to put her in. We just designed this thing from scratch in the beginning with a method using the projection of images. So it's kind of really interesting to kind of start that at an earlier stage and develop it to here. Oh, wow. So we're almost at 3 hours. I think I'm going to go continue a little bit more here until I can get the cave going. I might not finish it today on camera, but I will finish it and post renders online. But basically, it's just more of what I've been doing. Just assigning materials, finding camera angles, and doing renders in Keyshot. And then just kind of polishing it. And once I'm done in Keyshot, I do a render, take it out to Photoshop, run a few filters on it, do some more cleanup. And that's basically it. So, I mean, unless you guys want me to do more of this online, I think it's, it's not as exciting as all the stuff I've been doing in ZBrush, the sculpting and the kind of the shape generation. But I enjoy this part of it as well. All right, wow, we got quite a few people on today. All right, I don't know why this is taking so long to save, but it should be done. I think I've got 2 of these caves, and they're pretty heavy. That's what's causing all this mayhem. All right, well, some of you are liking this, so that's great. I was kind of hoping to get my Twitch thing going on, but I'm not, I'm not that familiar with all the different Twitch stuff. I want to create a thing where I can get subscribers and, figure out the whole interaction stuff and figure out what night to do it. I'm thinking of doing it, so I'll do 1 week of ZBrush Live and then do 1 week on Twitch and just switch back and forth between the two. All right, so we're done. So let me go and do the Boolean here. And hopefully... all right, so Boolean folder. Bam. Oh, no. That's not what we want. Okay, so much for that. All right, so I have to figure out how to cut a hole in this cave. I think I know what to do. So yeah, I'm just going to bump this back out, and I don't really care about this folder. I'm just going to move it down to the bottom here. And what I'm going to do is bring this down all the way to subdivision level 1. Delete all the higher subdivision levels. So now I can cut to my heart's desire. So I'm just going to trim curve this. Bam. And let's see, what did it do? Did it cut it? Nope. It's masked, that's why. But even while it's masked, it did cut it, but not... let's see if this works. There we go. Yep. And then I'll just select this and Z-modeler, delete polygroup island. Bam, gone. Okay, so now I've got my kind of hole to shine the camera through. but I lost my upper subdivision levels, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hide everything but just these two, and then just subdivide this. I think this is 7 subdivision levels, right? Yep, so I just need to divide this up to 7. All right, so this is going to be an adventure right here. All right, so now it should have, come on, do the 7th one. All right, so now it's got 7 subdivision levels, just like the one above it. And then we're just going to do a project all. All right, wait a few minutes. So now what it's doing is it's projecting all the details from this one that has the detail to this one that we just deleted the... Huh. You know what? Yeah, I don't think it'll work. I have another idea. If this doesn't work, I have another idea. Or if this takes too long, I guess we'll have to wait for it. All right, so we got a big question from Faithless Thought. I had a question. How many points can Keyshot handle? Keyshot, the reason why I like Keyshot is because it can handle a lot of points. And I've had a long history with ZBrush, with Keyshot, and it's specifically for this reason, is that you can throw a lot of geometry at it. You can get a very heavily subdivided ZBrush model and throw it into Keyshot and it'll just eat it up. It won't blow up your computer. You should try it. If it's heavily dynameshed, the model, you can just decimate it if you want to, just retain the shape, but not get the... Because if it's dynameshed, you probably don't have UVs or anything on it anyway. So if I were you, I'd decimate it before I send it into Keyshot. It just will make it a little bit faster and snappier if it's dynameshed. But even if it's dynameshed, you can probably just send it into Keyshot. It should handle it fine. All right, so this seems like a massively computationally heavy thing that I just did. So I don't know if this is the way to go. I'll have to probably try some other thing, which I have an idea of what to do next if this stops at some point. The good news is that I did do a quick save earlier, so I should be okay. I just wanted to come back so I have that link continuing between it and Keyshot. But yeah, I've thrown I've thrown 136 million poly object into Keyshot from ZBrush, and it just ate it up. So, all right. Well, while this is going on, I just want to see kind of what my AI is doing, harvesting images from it. Because while this is going, I'm basically getting some images generated in AI. Here, I'll show you guys the images. It's a lot more interesting to look at than what we're seeing. Oops, not that. Here we go. All these are AI generated. It's pretty amazing. Wow. Yeah, so I'm getting some really interesting results. If you guys are interested in seeing these, I'm posting them on my Instagram and on my Facebook. So, it just generates images like this, which are great for giving me ideas for composition and future stuff. So probably the next project I'm going to start it out in AI and then try and see if I can duplicate it here. Yeah, 30 million should be fine. 30 million is nothing. I would throw the 30 million at Keyshot. It should handle it just fine. I don't think that's an issue. Wow, this thing's still going. Let me see. Task Manager. I hope it's not crashed. It's probably not crashed. It's probably just computing. Where are you? It's so funny because these are the kinds of things that, well, wow, it's basically pegged my processors at 91%, and it's using about 41 gigs of RAM. So it's just, you know, it's just giving it a workout. You know what I should do here is to help it along, is go into Keyshot and pause this so it's not using computing power to render as well. So this should make it a little bit better. Let's see. Yeah, because Keyshot is using some of my GPU. All right. This model is pretty heavy. I don't know. I should have thought twice about doing this. But it's doing it. It's definitely chugging away. I will get a result at some point. And one of the other things I did with this cave is I made different polygroups, and I should have made a polygroup for this back part so I could just pop it out, and also for the front part so I could pop that out there. The AI generated work, it's using this thing called, if you go to my Facebook, I talk about it, but it's this Google Colab thing that's called Disco Diffusion, DISCO Diffusion. And you can look it up. There's tutorials online as well on how to use it. And basically, it's really straightforward. You give it some parameters, just some text about what you want to do, and you just let it run in the background. And it dumps all your images and everything onto Google Drive. So I basically let it go at night and then wake up in the morning and there's like maybe 10 images that it generated overnight. A lot of them are garbage, I gotta say, but you do get some good ones. So all the stuff I'm posting are basically art directed. They're ones that I've picked, I mean, what it gives you more or less is what you ask for, but I mean, you definitely aren't getting exactly what you want. So they're good for like initial ideation. They're good for just pretty pictures, but they're definitely not, replacing any concept designers or concept artists. So let's see, is this done yet? No, geez. Sorry, folks. I did not realize this would take this long. And I don't know if I can interrupt it with escape, so I'm not going to try that because I don't want it to crash. Maybe I can just tap escape once. Let's see if that, nope. It's gonna do it. All right. I got quite a few people watching today. Thank you for being on. I know this has kind of gone way beyond what I usually do. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, it's got an hour beyond what I usually do, and I probably will spend another half an hour at least finishing this up. So thank you all for your patience, and hopefully you're getting entertained or learning or, whatever you're here for. All right. when I look at Task Manager, it's still pretty high, but the number is going down. The processing is kind of, I think it's getting to a point where it's going to be done soon. Usually another trick also is not to let it loose at the higher subdivision level and to build it up. So, you know, kind of go to, because now there's probably going to be some gaps, but like go to subdivision level 2, project, level 3, project, level 4, project, level 5, project, and that usually takes a little bit less time. But I just went to 7 and just kind of floored it. Keyshot is paused. All right. Yeah, it's really pegged my my machine up. Let's see, performance. Yikes. Every processor is like sweating it. It's pretty wild. The machine's okay. It's you know, it's 5-6 years old. It's pretty beefy, but not in today's standards. Things have come a long way since I bought my machine, and I probably will get a new one, but not yet. Not with the chip shortages and kind of, you know, right now Intel just came out with some good chips. So it's their first generation of these chips, Alder Lake, I think it's called. So I'm going to wait until the next gen of these chips and then kind of maybe get an upgraded machine. But yeah, no, it's by no means, you know, like if I were to build a machine today, you know, if I had to do one today, I probably would get it with a Threadripper 64 and 64 chip Threadripper as a processor. You know, get DDR4 or 5 memory. I think the one I have is like maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. And maybe get a 3090 in there, or whatever NVIDIA is going to come out with next. So, yeah, I think, you know, hardware kind of gets stale after 2 years. Oh, really? You don't like the Threadrippers? Not a Threadripper guy? Okay, here we go. The processing is dropped quite a bit, so it should be getting to the end here. Either that or it's going to die. One of the two. But yeah, you don't like the Threadrippers? Really? I've got a lot of friends that have them. They seem to like them. I don't know anybody who's got a 64, but I know quite a few that have the 32, and they seem to be okay. Oh, you do? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Oh, you're asking if I... Yeah, no, here we go. So this is done. Yeah, no, I'm definitely interested in the Threadripper. Like I said, if I were to do one today, that's what I would do. All right, so let's see what this looks like on its own. It looks good. All right, so let's bring everybody back. You're back, and I don't need these two. I do need these guys, and yep. So let's send where is everybody? All right. So yeah, I probably will do. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with that architecture. I think it's kind of a neat race now. There's really good competition in the processor space. And the other thing is, you know, there's another wild card in the mixed. There's Apple's M1 chips, and those look interesting too. They just announced a heavy-duty one. However, you know, I don't know what their computation is compared to, you know, I mean, they always say 2 times faster and 10 times faster or whatever, but apples to apples, I don't know what they're, like I don't know how a machine, like I don't know if a Threadripper 64 or a Threadripper 32 with a 3090, like what is the comparison of a machine like that to the new thing that Apple announced. I'd be very curious to know what that comparison is. I mean, I'm not an Apple user. I do have a MacBook that I use for work sometimes if I work with a client that is an Apple client. But I do my heavy-duty work on PCs. But again, it's all dependent on... I don't know why this is here. It's not. Okay. All right, so we got everybody back here. Let's just send everybody back over to Keyshot. Let me unpause it first. Unpause. Now that we have the cave, just send everybody over. And then we'll get one render out today, and then I'll do a bunch afterwards. I mean, for that projection, I mean, even though we had to sit here and wait for a while, it wasn't that bad. I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure there'll be new Threadrippers. I mean, the industry is not stopping. I thought Threadrippers were on the 2nd generation already, aren't they? I thought they were. I might be mistaken, but did this not go through? Okay, it's still doing it. Nope. Why is it rendering in here? Oh, I turned Keyshot off. All right, let's try escape. Okay. Yeah, this is a BPR renderer, not bad. I'm going to turn off polyframe here and turn Keyshot back on. I don't know how that got turned off. And let's BPR it over to Keyshot. All right, here we go. Yeah, I think Threadripper was on 2nd generation. I thought it was. I'm sure there's a 3rd one coming and a 4th one and whatever. I mean, chip companies just keep churning out these amazing new chips. Uh-oh, I'm out of tea. That's dangerous. All right, so let's get the cave. We'll do a render and we'll call it a night. It's getting pretty late. I went for 3.5 hours. I mean, it's not that bad. The main goal of these streams is that I basically will be doing this anyway. It's just always good to kind of do it with an audience. Here we go. All right. Now let's get rid of the floor here. Well, let's drop it to the floor first. Let me make sure a few things are still doing okay here. Okay, so that's about 23 feet. That's good. That's what I wanted. It's all good and everything. So let's close this down. Oh, I don't want to do that. Do this. All right, so let's add a material to this cave here. I'm not really going to care that much. Let's try and see if this material will work. Copy material, paste, linked, paste material. Okay, so the cave is really dark inside because there's no light. Let's get in there. All right, so I need to add some lights in here. And I'm thinking of what the best way to do this is. Edit, add geometry, or add light. Let's add an area light. I don't know how I got it to be like that, but let's make it this way as well. I'm going to go to performance mode here for a minute because I don't really need detailed rendering. I just want to make this light and move it over here and rotate it this way so it lights up inside of the cave. All right, let's just do OK for now. And let's drop this out of performance mode, see what we're getting. Is light shining in the right direction? Maybe it needs to be stronger. All right, let's go to watts. Yep, just what I thought. The light is pointing in the wrong direction. All right, no worries. Rotate it this way. Here we go. We don't need to see that light. We just need to see what it's shining on. All right. So here again, the space mask comes in handy. It also works with the I think this 1000 watts is too much. Let's go to 800, maybe even 600 watts. 400. Not visible to camera. Not visible in reflections. The lighting that we have, product. All right, so I'm going to make this light a little bit smaller. Other way. Move it further out. All right. And I'm going to go to interior lighting. Now you can see this is definitely slowing things down a bit. So I'm going to see if I could get better results with my GPU. See if that is going to be faster. All right, so let's see. Oh, the Intel chips, yeah. Alder Lake is generation 1, yeah. They just came out with them. Wow, well, this is not good. All right. Oh, man, okay. No GPU. We have to stick with CPU. That's fine. My GPU is old, too. I need a new GPU. Too bad everything's just kind of crazy right now with that. What if I think my lighting is just set on the highest level. So this is kind of giving me an idea of what this is going to look like. I wonder if I choose a different environment, if this is going to be any better. Let's go to an exterior one. Let's try this one. And also, my environment probably is, how big is my environment? Let's Seems it's too small. Here we go. And let's just say 100 feet. Yeah, it's really, I might have to do this render in layers and then composite it. It's kind of slow as a, yeah, so for this outside part, it'll probably include some sort of a mat or something like that to just cover it up. I think I want to choose a different material for the cave. Let's go to stone. Let's try granite. That way the stuff shows up more. If it's the same color, the sarcophagus was kind of getting buried. Let's try granite. Trying white ceramic. But yeah, this is definitely chugging away. So now I've kind of got a bit of an idea. I kind of like this cave being white like this. Maybe it's an ice cave. If I add some sort of a translucent material to it, that's going to take even longer to render. All right, so this is kind of a good place to, I think, call it. Because at this point, all I have to do is just wait for the render to happen. And it's kind of like watching paint dry, so I'm not going to belabor it. I'll just kind of answer some questions and let this go for a while. And then do some renders off camera. I think we can call this whole episode and this whole season at this point, and just keep looking online to see me do some renders of this. Maybe I'll revisit it when I get a new GPU that can probably churn through these a lot faster, because right now it's painfully slow. It's not bad though, because the minute the denoiser kicks in, I get a good idea of what it's going to look like. So when I like that, I'll just go in here under camera and just, I mean, usually another thing I do is I save a screenshot down here, which basically will save a camera as well. So like, let's say this is a good angle. I just click on this. Now I've got a screenshot and I also have a camera that's saved. And that's one look. And if you look at it here, I mean, you know, it's not bad from a kind of getting an idea of what it looks like point. Here's another one. Like, let's say I'm going to look at it. And also, what kind of a camera? I'm using an 81mm camera. Let's just choose a wider angle. Let's see if that kind of generates something more interesting. And depth of field would be nice here too. So once I find a good, you know, angle, I think this is a good one too. I'm going to let it kind of get to some sort of a resolve point, and then I'll do a screenshot of it as well. So basically, I do a lot of this type of work beforehand. It usually goes a lot faster. I mean, I guess I could put it in performance mode and find the angles. So now I'm using that space mouse just to kind of find a better angle. And notice here that I probably will have another one with this part cut out. exact same thing I was doing before, but have this back part cut out, and find a kind of a picture or a version of this. And I don't know if I can. I don't know if Keyshot will let me go inside of it. Let's see if it does. What if I just go in here and come around? Yeah, it works. I'll just have to be... I think it's too close. No, I don't know if that's going to work. But yeah, I'll have to punch some more holes in it to just kind of have a way to put the camera in there. This is a great angle right here, right? So I'll just do a screenshot. Right, and so now I'm saving all those camera angles. Let's try one from the top here, looking this way. And again, whatever's on the outside, I will probably just put a matte in there to cover it up, or just paint it black. I kind of wish I kind of cut this bottom part out too so I can see her boots. But yeah, there's that. We'll do a screenshot there. And I've got 3 camera angles so far. Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to kind of make the normals visible through Keyshot. I haven't looked into that too. I'll look into that. Kind of like I have it in ZBrush here, where if I have this cave right here, the OG cave, right? So I've basically turned on the normals so it shows through, right? So I probably will pick some... I'll probably turn, I'll probably get some angles like this too, of the astronaut kind of facing the front part. We did all that work, so we can see, the front part of the astronaut, and see this in behind it. Let me turn perspective on. Like get a shot like this, for example. Basically just cinematography at this point. That's not bad. Right, so, I mean, this is better than 2D concept design because I can get so many shots and so many angles so that, when this thing's going to be made into a movie or a game or whatever, then they basically have, they don't have to match an image. They can basically match a composition. All right, let's see, it's 10:35. I think I'm good. I'm starting to get tired too. Set my camera target to something inside the section you want and can get in closer. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, Robert. That's a good strategy too. I think I'm kind of okay with this so far. I'm going to turn off performance mode and I'll let this kind of do its render with the denoise. And if you guys have some last minute questions, ask away. And other than that, I think we can just basically call it a night and call it a season. I really enjoyed doing this one. I think it was a lot of fun. I mean, if you guys are interested in watching the other episodes of this, by the way, I should mention this while this is happening in the background. You can always go to ZBrush Live, and if you look for me here, so if you go to Presenters and scroll down, I'm here somewhere, I think, right here. If you go to my name and scroll down, you can see all of them listed. So we started out here, and then we just basically developed it, got some interesting poses for it, developed the eggs and whatnot. I don't think this is complete, but now that the last episode is done, I can talk to the Pixelogic folks to put these in the right order. But yeah, we just basically started out with just a character like this and projected some images onto her and got her to be more detailed. And you guys kind of saw the whole process from start to finish. If you are interested in something more of a, streams are nice and they're kind of loose, but I also have trainings that I've done. So I've done one on a Mech for Gnomon Workshop, and this one is more, the whole process kind of as a lesson. So you can, you can watch the preview. I think that's free. You can watch it now. But basically, all the way from doing the research of the specifications of the Mech to sketching it out in Oculus Medium. Sketching it out in VR, which you don't have to do. I mean, I could have done that in ZBrush as well, but VR is kind of fun. It's got some other benefits. And then picking out the thumbnails of what I want, refining the overall shape in ZBrush, modeling it, and then modeling the legs and all that stuff. So all this is done in ZBrush, UVing it, texturing it in Substance Painter, rendering it in Keyshot. So this, everything we've been doing now, the detail of that is in here. And then after that, taking it out into Photoshop and doing compositing. Here's some images from it. So here I'm basically sculpting them in VR. Here I am in ZBrush, kind of adding some surface noise to it and everything, and figuring out the details. Here it is in Keyshot, kind of doing some of the things we're doing now. Here's the gun in ZBrush, and here's the reference gathering parts, and just kind of working on the detailed parts. Here it is being painted in Substance Painter. So it's a pretty in-depth tutorial. Here's the UVs in ZBrush. So yeah, I mean, I'd highly recommend if you kind of want to go through a class, this would be a good one to go to, or a workshop. I've got another workshop with Gnomon as well on photogrammetry, where you basically take a model like this and put her in a room that has a bunch of cameras and take the pictures of the different angles and then retopoing it for a game asset. So that's another title I have with the Gnomon Workshop. So yeah, and if you guys want to see my work, I don't know if any of you are new here, but my website is kermaco.com, Kermaco.com. And if you go there, it's got links to all my socials. Instagram is where I am most active. So here's a kind of an organic thing I did in ZBrush, just kind of sketching around, playing around. I basically created this kind of medieval soldier that basically took a sword to the face. So this was just kind of like a 3-hour, 4-hour sketch. And sometimes I just kind of play around and do things, so I post them here. Here's kind of a primary rendering of this astronaut that just in T-pose. I just basically applied some filters and paint overs. Here's some ideas I had for the sarcophagus before. This one. So I do post a lot of stuff on my Instagram. That's the place to go to see my latest work. And while that's happening, this is kind of starting to look nice. It's starting to kind of resolve. And I think the cave is too high res. I probably will decimate it and then send it in here, and that would make this a little bit snappier. Kind of lessons learned. So I'll probably slice it up, decimate it, load it into Keyshot, and do some good renders of this composition. All right, so I think that's it. Doesn't seem like you guys have any more questions. I'm pretty tired, and I don't know what time of day it is where you are, but I'd like to thank you all for staying with me this entire 3.5 hours. Hopefully you've kind of picked up some useful tips and tricks, and happy ZBrushing, everybody. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.